Nathan
buddy.
Peck. How's it going?
Hello. It's good to be back on the show and get to talk about Amazon Q today.
You're not hosting today. You're a guest today. Is that weird?
Yeah. I'm off the hook and not hosting today. I get to talk about the fun stuff. I get to talk about the AWS service.
You have the harder job today. You actually have to, talk about things and know about things.
Teach us.
The even more fun one, though. So
that's true. That's true. Well, how's it going? Introduce yourself to the people.
So my name is Nathan Peck. I'm a developer advocate at AWS and longtime AWS fan. I've been an AWS builder for a long time. And now I'm working on the generative AI space. I'm working in specific with Amazon Q Developer, and we're trying to reinvent how people build on AWS and really build anywhere. Anything they want to build. We think that generative AI can make it easier and more interesting for you to build whatever it is you're trying to build.
I think so too, but I don't know that much about it, so I'm excited to learn. I just follow whatever you say, Nathan.
So basically, let me do a quick intro first. So the basic concept. I mean, generative AI is a hot topic, so a lot of people have probably heard about it. And you have the idea of generative AI being this cool chat interface that you can talk to in order to get a response back that sounds like a human. Well, one of the personas that it can take on is the persona of a developer who can actually write code for you, who can essentially pair program with you as you're asking questions. The chat can be an AWS expert that answers some of those tough architectural questions that you might have, like, do I use AWS Fargate? Do you use App Runner? Do I use whatever service that you're trying to analyze as to whether or not you want to use it? And then one of the things you can do that's even more interesting now is you can even ask it to develop a feature. You can give it your code base and say, I'd like you to modify this code base and figure out how to make this work, and you can get code back. So we're really excited about the idea of Amazon Q Developer being an assistive aid. I saw that poll of results. Obviously a lot of y'all are learning through Twitch, which is already a sort of next level way to learn about code. But now imagine if, rather than typing to the Twitch chat and waiting for the person hosting the stream to respond, now you can type into that chat and you can get a response back from a chat bot any time of day. It's almost like the Twitch chat, except it's always available. And you always have somebody.
Wait, hold on.
But I'm sorry. Are you pitching Twitch right now on this product?
Hold on.
He's such a developer advocate. He's actually
imagine a world where the Nathan that you see here is actually an AI model, and he's talking about code here and he's responding in chat, but he's not actually here. Huh?
Look, Amazon Q is never gonna have a cool Mothman shirt like me, though.
That is true.
Tune into Twitch. Don't stop. Keep watching.
Keep coming.
AWS OnAir. Anyway, Nathan, how do you do? There's a couple ways that I can access Q Developer as well, right? It's built into a couple different places. You want to talk about how people actually can chat with Q?
So I think the best thing to do would be to actually start showing it. I do have a couple demos that I can show you today. So let me know when that's up on screen.
We're almost there. We're there. Maybe could you give me like one more zoom in?
Let me hit zoom one more time. There we go.
Yeah, that's lovely.
So this is very zoomed in, so you might not immediately recognize it as such, but this is the AWS console home. And if you click this cute little button over here on the upper right, it looks like a Q. You're going to open up the Amazon Q chat interface.
Oh, fun.
And this is one of the ways. Let me reload this. This is one of the ways to actually access Amazon Q and start asking it questions about your AWS account. So here's the classic one that I always ask myself every month, which is how much was my AWS bill last month? And I always like to do these interesting experiments on AWS, but I start spinning up infrastructure and sometimes I get a little surprised. So my AWS bill for last month was $1,786.
Okay,
not too shabby there. You're doing some interesting stuff in there, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm doing something fun, but then I say, okay, what did I spend all that money on? let's see if it can give me a breakdown of what I actually spent that money on, because $1,700 might be a little bit more than I intended to spend, right?
Yeah.
So according to the information provided, I spent the most on Amazon EC2, specifically the C5.4x large instance type. So that costs $489, 27% of my AWS bill. So, it's able to have access to the information on my account and give me information about what I actually did on my AWS account. And then I can start to ask for more general guidance as well. So how might I save some money? So let's see what it says, if it's able to give me some good recommendations on how to actually save money on this.
Nathan, for anybody who is using Q in preview, this is new, right? This launched at the GA. This feature of having awareness of your AWS account, right?
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
And so here you see it's starting to give me some recommendations. So if I'm somebody who just spun up my first few EC2 instances on AWS and I'm not really familiar with my options for optimizing my bill, now I'm learning about savings plans. I'm learning about how to optimize my resource usage, how to use spot instances, reserved instances, and so it's giving me sources as well to click through to discover some of these other documentation about this. So this is one of the primary places you'll probably experience Amazon Q first.
Yeah, Nathan. Can I ask? We were just talking to Gunnar Gross yesterday on my game day show. You know Gunnar, right?
Yeah.
He flexed on all of us, and he's like, "I don't use the AWS console. I only do things for the CLI." Sounds typical Gunnar, right? Like,
very cool.
So do you have something Q developer for somebody like Gunnar who only uses a CLI or an IDE or something like that?
So first of all, if you're not necessarily into the CLI yet, Amazon Q will give you an example of the CLI command to run in order to do some of your tasks. So I can ask it, how would I do this on the CLI? And it'll print out a CLI command that I can copy and paste into my command line.
So I can impress Gunnar is what you're saying.
Oh yeah, exactly. And I use this all the time too, because I don't necessarily remember off the top of my head all the CLI commands. There's a lot of them. Every single API, there's thousands and thousands of APIs. Like I can't keep track of all of them. So this is a good learning tool for getting into the CLI.
Oh, hey, we had a question real quick. I'm sorry to be all over the place, Nathan, but Jib Jab, who loves my Mothman shirt, by the way, asked, what if I have several different accounts? Can Q query across all or some of them?
I don't believe so yet. We're, this is using Cost Explorer, which is obviously linked to this particular account.
Right.
But that's a great feature for request for the service team. So I'll take that back to them and ask them, how is this going to work with organizations? Can we tie in organization and all the child accounts on there?
There you go.
But before we run out of time, I also want to show the other way to use Amazon Q as a developer. And this is where we get really into the developer side of things. And that is right inside of the IDE. So once again, I have Visual Studio Code here. I've got some code open. I have another chat interface over here inside my IDE. And let me actually show the application. This is a cool
This is something you've been building, right? I've been watching you build it.
So this is a cool application I've been building with the assistance of Amazon Q. It is a game. It's in progress. And the idea behind this game is that you can you have like a dimensional portal that you can open up to get random items out. And then you can repair them. You can disassemble them into pieces. So here I just opened the portal and I got like a knapsack and some gemstone glimmer hoops, right? Oh. So the idea is like it's a crafting game where I can get all these random items that were generated by the AI, and I can use the AI in order to craft on these items. Well, one of the things I would like to add is a sort of equipment sheet, like an RPG. I have my stats, maybe on my crafting and sort of different stats for like creativity and things like that. And I want to have equipment slots as well. So that way, like, I don't know, maybe this retro rave hollow skirt or this atmospheric containment suit, or maybe this, here we go, Vivian Westwood punk princess evening gown. Maybe I want to actually have my character wear one of these items that was generated by the game, right?
That's really cool.
So right now, this is just a placeholder. It says real world content goes here. There's not actually.
That's a 3-pound dress, by the way.
It is.
Evening gown.
3 pounds. That's heavy. It's worth $2,500 too. So
that is timely with the Met Gala coming up.
Exactly.
Maybe it's already the game's aware of a dress that's coming.
Exactly. Yeah. And the AI has predicted this punk princess evening gown. So anyway, so I want to be able to actually wear these things. So I want to start building out a actual like character stat sheet.
Okay.
And to be honest, this is something I have not actually tested yet to see whether it's going to actually work.
We
But
love a live demo without.
yeah, this is about as live as it gets. So here's the view component for this, where you can see that where that window is defined, and you can see that all it has in is real world content here. And I want to start building out a feature here. So I'm going to type /dev, which is how I start it. And then I'm gonna start coming up with some suggestions here. So I'm gonna say modify the me window that view component to
file you got
add a player stat sheet with equipment and stats similar to an RPG. I mean, that's called player character street. There we go. And so I just hit enter on that. And so this is telling the Amazon Q developer to come up with a plan on how to make this happen. And so the first stage of approaching something like this is kind of thinking through how you would actually even develop something like that. And so obviously the plan is sometimes hard to come up with. Sometimes if I'm building a new feature, I might spend like 5 minutes or so coming up with a plan, right? But this is something where I could actually hand this off to Amazon Q and let it come up with a first pass on the plan that I could start to work on myself, or I could then turn around and ask Amazon Q to start working on that plan autonomously. Oh. So let's see, once we get the answer back over here. The other thing that I can do while this is coming up with the plan is I can show you some of the other features. I can highlight this and I can say send to Amazon Q and explain.
Oh, nice.
So,
Ooh.
What is this code? And so it's coming up with an answer.
Helpful.
It's like, sure, I'd be happy to explain the selected code block. It looks like it represents a window and a user interface. That's absolutely what's going on there. And it's explaining what each of the pieces of this particular component are actually doing for me, right? So meanwhile, okay, we got a plan back over here. And so it's explained how it's going to modify this file. And it's actually come up with a very detailed plan rather than just creating a placeholder like I wanted. It's going to start trying to modify other backend JavaScript files.
Oh, wow.
Store. It even is going to plan to try to go over to the server side because this is a game server, has a client and a server. And it's going to try to add stuff to the backend game server. Now, obviously, for a live demo to make this a lot faster and less chance of failure, I can modify the plan. So it says, would you like to generate a suggestion for this, or how can this plan be improved? So I'm going to say only modify the me window that view file.
Just
no
this one
other files. Yeah,
just this one Vue.js file.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's getting real ambitious here. It's planning on
like, hey, let's go update the database schema and let's launch a.
You actually did it. You did it all wrong.
But you know what? For somebody, let's say that a junior developer came onto this project or somebody who never touched this code before. This plan is very comprehensive. It's very good. Like I could look at this and I could say, okay, these are all the steps that I legitimately would need to do in order to make this happen, right? But just for the sake of this, I want it to be a little bit faster. So, so it's modified the plan now. It's changed what it was going to do, and it's changed it to only have the things that are necessary to modify this particular file that I have open. And so I'm going to generate a suggestion for this. So it's going to give me a file diff before inserting into the project, and it's going to allow me to sort of preview what it's going to do.
It's like a pull request, basically. Like you're doing a code review, essentially.
That's exactly right. So essentially, as I'm developing this, I get to take on a little bit of the role of like a product manager or something like that. I can kind of describe what I would like for this Q developer model to do on my behalf, and then refine my suggestions and then let it come up with code. And to be fully honest, like that code isn't necessarily always 100% of the way there. It may or may not actually work when I dropped it in. I would say in my past tests, maybe like 75% of the time that code works without any modifications. The other 25% of the time I have to make some changes. So we'll see how it goes today on this live demo. This is about as live as it gets. These models will sometimes produce different results from run to run. as to whether or not it runs without modification. But what you're going to see is that it gets me, 80, 90% of the way there to a functioning code base for what I asked it. Yeah. And then that allows me as a senior developer to take that last, 5% or whatever and get that committed into the code base in a working state.
We're running short on time, Nathan, but we do have one question from chat too that could be interesting to answer. Any language constraints when it comes programming language, that is. Will Q generate code in whatever language I need from?
Yes, within reason. There's quite a few languages that are actually trained in. We have in the documentation an ongoing list of the languages we've optimized for. Not every language is like super optimal, but every language that I've tested, it's giving me decent results.
Yeah, and we'll shout out Darko and Rohini coming up next too. If you want to see more of this in action. Oh, and there we go. We bought you.
All right. We got the diff here.
Yeah, we got
it. It's generated some player stats, health, strength, intelligence, dexterity. It's generated some equipment. It's started building out that character sheet. It even built out like CSS styles for it. Right? See?
Wow.
Cool.
And so if I insert the code. Let me see if it actually. Oh, there we go. Look and see. Wow. There, my code base.
Wow.
Now, see this layout isn't like super great yet, but you can see that this gives me like a starting point, right? It's built JavaScript for me. It's built HTML and it's built CSS. This gives you an idea of like it can work in not just one language. It can work in multiple languages and help me build out features for whatever I'm trying to build in an automated fashion.
Well, Nathan, awesome. Where do you want to send people? Where do you want to send them to go check this out?
Check out the Developer Center for Amazon Q. We have a bunch of tutorials, tips and tricks, installation instructions, how to get started, how to get set up, different prompts and things to try, best practices for using Amazon Q Developer, and just have fun with it.
Do I need an AWS account to do this?
Not necessarily. You can use it with the Amazon account, or you can just use your AWS Builder ID, which is completely free, no risk of getting a bill there. So you can try it out 100% for free.
Cool.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us, Nathan.
Thanks for joining us, Nathan.